President Trump yesterday signed a memorandum requesting an immediate assessment of aviation safety. This comes on the heels of the tragic mid-air collision that took place over Washington, D.C., specifically Reagan National Airport on Wednesday night. And meanwhile, Democrats seem to be furious that the president is suggesting that a focus on DEI at the administration at the aviation administration may have negatively affected the agency. But friends, look, when it comes to public safety, should there be any stone left unturned? Well, we want to talk about that, and joining me now for this and more is Congressman Chuck Fleischmann. He serves on the House Appropriations Committee as well as the Committee on Science, Space, and Technology. He represents Tennessee's 3rd Congressional District. Congressman, welcome back to Washington Watch. Always good to see you, my friend.
Jody, it's always great to be with you. It was a privilege to serve with you, sir, in the House for several years, and now to see you at the Family Research Council, one of my favorite organizations in America. God bless you.
Well, God bless you as well. Always great to see you. All right, so let's begin with this. Congressman, what do you make of the actions that President Trump has taken so far, specifically as it relates to the deadly crash over D.C.?
Well, obviously, I have flown over the past 15 years in and out of Reagan National Airport. I've seen the airport grow. I know this area oh so well, and my heart goes out every time I watch that fateful clip of the crash between the jet and the helicopter, the loss of life. I'm devastated. There's no question about that. But I give President Trump the highest grades. I commend him highly for making sure that all aspects of this investigation are not only transparent, they've been swift, they've been honest, they've been responsive. The military is looking at this, the FAA is looking at this, the NTSB. He has gone out right away to the American people, having to face this tragedy very early in his tenure, in his second term, and he's done a very good job. The American people want answers, they want air safety, so I commend him highly.
So what do you make of the information so far that's coming out? It seems to me, at least, that the more information that comes out, the more disturbing all of this is. Is there anything that Congress intends to do to help beef up the safety at DC-8?
An excellent question. Obviously, the military has already taken remediative action in terms of limiting the helicopter flights. I come in and out every week. I see these helicopters of all different types. Some are flying low, some are flying higher, but they're obviously going to have to take a look at that. So remedial measures have already been put into place. But I think Congress constitutionally, Jody, has such an important oversight role. As an appropriator, we bring people before us. We question where federal dollars are going, how they're being spent. So that key constitutional role for Congress, oversight, is very important. There'll be hearings in the House, there'll be hearings in the Senate. But once again, I commend President Trump for very quickly getting on top of this. Sean Duffy, who's done an excellent job. He was on the job less than 24 hours when this tragedy hit. They're all working very hard. They're abundantly honest. They want to get to the bottom of this. This is a tragedy, the first in over 15 years of this magnitude. Let's hope and pray it never happens again.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're so right. Sean Duffy hit the road on that position and full steam ahead. If I can transition with you some, Congressman Fleischmann, as we all know, it's just been breakneck speed. The President Trump has hit the ground running. Your thoughts on some of his recent executive orders?
Well, I'm very thankful. For the past 4 years, and I want all of our listeners to understand this, Joe Biden and the Biden administration did more damage to this country than any other administration in our lifetime. It was ineptness. You had a commander-in-chief who didn't know half the things that he was doing. As a matter of fact, he would deny these to great friends of ours like the Speaker of the House. He was a handled president from day one. This just didn't happen later in the term. This was a disaster with a capital D for the American economy, for our foreign policy, for the entire American Republic. And from the inception, Donald Trump, and I give him great credit for this, by executive order has begun to undo the damage over the past 4 years. It's going to take time. 4 years of inept action, wrong policies, taking us in a radical left-wing agenda, in an agenda that could not be more antithetical than people like myself and other good, strong Christians want to see for this country. We're going to get back on moral track, on an economic track. Our friends will be our friends. Our foes will fear us again. So kudos to President Trump for starting with that executive pen, undoing the damage that Biden has done, and working towards a better place in time for our entire country.
Absolutely. One of the things, Congressman Fleischmann, that people have told me they're concerned about, and I share the concern, is an executive order obviously can be erased by the next president if there's someone opposed to it. So what are the chances that we're going to see some of these things codified from Congress taking them up and statutorily securing these things?
Jody, another excellent question. We've already seen a win in that regard. The Lake and Riley Act, which could not have been passed with President Biden there, he would not have signed it. We passed it in the House twice. The Senate passed it, and President Trump signed it into law. So he's 1-for-1. We've already seen that happen. Here's the practical problem. For the next few months, we're going to have basically a one-seat majority in the United States House on a lot of issues. We will fill those 3 vacant seats. They will be filled by Republicans. But at that point in time, we'll only have a 4-seat majority in the House. We have a 3-seat majority, fortunately, in the United States Senate, but it takes 60 votes to break a filibuster. Now, on many of the nominees, we just saw a great nominee yesterday, Chris Wright, for energy. He broke the filibuster with 62 votes. So we're going to get some of that done. But the reality is the margins are very slight and tight. So we're going to have to be very tactical in the way that we do this. Our great Republican majority it's not a monolith. We have moderates, center-right, and far-right folks. We all need to get together, work together, support President Trump, support our friends in the Senate, and support Speaker Mike Johnson, and move our country to a better place. So yes, can we get some legislative wins? Absolutely. But we need to go ahead and do that in the first 2 years. We need to work very hard to make sure that we grow in the Senate, that we keep our House majority, because for President Trump, we want a strong 4 years, not a strong 2 years. In order to do that, we've got to keep the House and the Senate. President Trump knows this. J.D. Vance knows this. The American people know this. Conservatives have got to get together and stay together and work together, because we can never fall back into that radical left-wing lapse that we fell into for 4 years. It hurt our country deeply.
Absolutely. Congressman Chuck Fleischmann, Tennessee, always good to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us today on Washington Watch and for the input that you've been able to provide. Thank you so much.
Thank you. My best to Tony as well.